You look around and feel like everyone's ahead of you, like somehow, while you were trying to hold it all together, the world kept spinning. Without you. Everyone's moving, posting, winning, growing, and here you are, still figuring it out, still trying to breathe through days that don't feel built for your pace. But here's the truth. You're not late, you're not lost, you're not broken. You're living a life that can't be measured by timelines that weren't made for you. You don't bloom on demand, you bloom when it's time. And no clock on a wall or highlight reel can measure your becoming. This world rewards speed, but healing, growth, becoming who you truly are, that takes stillness, that takes depth, that takes the kind of inner work that most people never slow down long enough to do. So if you're still while others run, maybe you're not falling behind. Maybe you're building something they can't even see yet. Maybe your pace is your wisdom. They told you that success has a look, a speed, a checklist. But what if the greatest thing you ever become has nothing to do with a title, a timeline, or a trophy? What if your legacy is how deeply you lived instead of how quickly? What if it's the way you listened when no one else did? The way you stayed kind when life tried to harden you? The way you kept showing up, even when the world didn't clap? Because here's the truth, you don't need to be celebrated to be significant. You don't need applause to have impact. You don't need an audience to matter. Your value doesn't rise and fall with attention. It doesn't spike with validation or crash when people stop looking. Real growth happens in the shadows, in quiet mornings, in long nights of doubt, in small decisions to keep choosing your path when the noise tells you to quit. This is the part they don't talk about, where progress is invisible, but transformation is real. So if you feel unseen, you're not failing, you're forming. Don't measure your progress by how loud it is. Measure it by how honest you've become. By how gently you speak to yourself now. By how often you choose presence over panic. That's growth too. That's healing. The truth is, most people don't even know what they're chasing. They just know they're tired, burnt out, and afraid of stopping long enough to hear their own thoughts. But you've dared to slow down, to ask better questions, to rebuild yourself with intention instead of urgency. That's courage. And no, it doesn't look like much from the outside. There are no medals for choosing rest, no standing ovation for deciding to be soft in a world that rewards sharpness. But here's what they don't tell you. Some of the most important victories are the ones only you can feel. The day you forgave yourself, the moment you broke a cycle, the night you finally slept in peace. That's the kind of success that builds an unshakable foundation. And that kind of foundation doesn't crumble when the world shifts. It stands because it's real. Somewhere along the way, you stopped waiting to be chosen. You stopped begging for permission to live your own life. And maybe that's why it feels so lonely sometimes, because now you're walking a path few have the courage to take. You've outgrown spaces that once felt like home. You've said goodbye to versions of yourself that made others comfortable. And sure, that kind of growth comes at a cost. Silence, distance, being misunderstood. But don't confuse that loneliness with being lost. You're not lost. You're just ahead of your old life. You're not alone. You're just not surrounded by noise anymore. You've traded approval for authenticity, and that's never an easy road. But it's the real one. The one where your feet are finally your own. The one where you no longer walk in circles, trying to meet someone else's expectations. The one where you finally move forward without needing to look back. There's a kind of power in knowing your own pace. In walking with intention instead of chasing validation. You don't have to catch up. There's nothing to catch. This life isn't a race. It's a return. To your truth, to your breath, to the part of you that always knew. You were never behind. You were becoming. You were unlearning what the world taught you to fear. You were peeling back the layers you never asked to carry. You were letting go of stories that never belonged to you. And now you walk different. Now your silence holds weight. Now your no is sacred. Now your joy is non-negotiable. Because you've seen the other side. You've played the comparison game. You've felt the burnout of trying to meet everyone else's timeline, and you survived it. So now you choose differently. You choose peace over performance, depth over display, and meaning over momentum. You're not falling behind. You're finally showing up exactly where you're meant to be.